This is why I'm against games and media in general. The lack of effort, the lack of innovation, the sheer developers doing this out of contractual obligation from the higher ups. And we can all feel it, the loss of soul within every single game that we buy. It started, I want to say, within the 6th generation with Call of Duty, the rinse and repeat cycles of that. With Assassin's Creed, there was repeat and recycle of that. When even Forza was in the mix, Gears of War was kind of running through the ground. The Halo franchise didn't have to need a 4th installment. And it gets to the fan base, right? So let me explain more on this. These studio developers, these game developers, these media creators, they're not a fan of their creation. They're not making this out of passion. They're not making it to give us an experience. They're not making this for enjoyment. They're making this because the data told them to make it. And I think we can all agree, we've all seen it, especially with Nintendo, how this rinse and repeat cycle really got out of hand. It started within the Wii U era, where every game was exactly the same. And we gave them a pass because at least they were fun. But here's an example. Mario Strikers, Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Animal Crossing, all of those were complete trash. And yet we kept on buying it. So the data kept on showing that they should make more. And now every single one of those installments has no story mode, has no updates on gameplay or modes or missions. They have no improvement in graphics. They just sell us absolute garbage. Complete slop. And people buy it, and now we're stuck with a mess of a game. And I read the comments. Everybody's defending this like it's worth defending, when in fact nobody cares. Not even the people developing are a fan of it. They're a fan of the data that they receive. And so now we're stuck with absolute garbage. Or right at the here's the two outcomes. The best case scenario, we're stuck with the same game over and over again with mid quality. Worst case scenario, we're stuck with absolute garbage that becomes disposable for these developers. And then it just gets thrown away, gets on a long hiatus, and then comes back. This is why Mario Kart felt so empty, felt so soulless. They had everything new. An open world, linear tracks, a lot of characters, and yet nothing of value was added. The open world was completely empty. The missions for those open worlds were so meaningless. The characters were so tacked on. All of it to justify a price spike in value. And so the competitors saw that, Sonic Crossroads, and they said, let's give them something that's polished. And again, nothing wrong with that game. It's mindless fun, it's enjoyment. But the fact that people are rating it a 9, a 10, they're giving this thing that it's a masterpiece, that is absurd. It's just everything else is complete trash. So if a soccer game were to come out and it were to be fun and it were to be polished, it would have blank missions, it would absolutely dominate. It would absolutely dominate because the competition is so trash right now. And that's where we're at. We're at a stage in gaming where everything is so mediocre that the one standout is treated as gold, when in fact all media is trash. Everything we've consumed right now. The exception being indie titles with new gameplay, the exception being those actual polished new franchise that come out every once in a while. Things like Horizon, things like Elden Ring, where at least they gave maximum effort to it. At least they gave everything, every resource available to create something that was genuinely worth exploring. I don't know how people aren't seeing through this. I don't know why people are still consuming AAA titles. Even now, the fact that they're called quadruple A titles, what reason for? Why are they called quadruple A? What new have they given us in terms of value for entertainment. It's just graphical updates that made it quadruple A. It's just these unnecessary resources to justify a price hike. And it's not just gaming. The cinematic industry is the same way. Marvel, same way, rinse and repeat. Star Wars, same thing, rinse and repeat. People who make these aren't a fan of the property. They're a fan of the data. They see the data and they say, repeat it again. And they don't care about the fan base. They don't care about who they're insulting with their mediocre quality. They rinse and repeat until it no longer turns a profit, and then they discard it. That's my take. It's not even a hot take. People shouldn't defend these mediocre properties, but whatever. I'm still going to see it in the comments. Like and subscribe. Follow for more. We all know where it's headed. I'm still going to have a job as long as these companies are going to keep on spewing out these garbage. So, win-win. Just know that you as a person, if you continue to consume this media, you're a loser. You don't value your time. You think mediocrity is acceptable and you're allowing average into your life. Think about that.